All right, thank you guys. And yep, we did it. We improved to 6-0 in our last 6 NBA tier package picks on my Patreon website yesterday. And I'll get to a little bit more of that in just a second. But first, I got to take this time to welcome you to the video. My name is Brock Page, and this is our NBA free picks video on YouTube for Tuesday, June 8th. It's actually my wedding anniversary today, actually, so you best believe my wife and I will be wining and dining to the absolute fullest here this evening. Might get some Wagyu tonight. Never had it. Some Wagyu steak. But anyway, this year's anniversary theme is cotton, so got her a nice new hammock this year, but keep it quiet because she's not going to find out until this evening. So, just keep it on the DL. But anyway, guys, really quick, before we get into it here today, I just have to quickly remind you once again that we improved to 6-0 in our last 6 NBA tier package picks on my Patreon website yesterday. And the good news is we're going to get back after it today. We got ourselves another NBA tier package pick going off here this evening. And if you want to access that pick and see what it is, the link for that pick is in the description section below. Now, we currently have over 1,000 members who are signed up and active on that page. And once again, if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. We actually had 5 premium picks yesterday on that site. We hit 4 of them. We had a great day. But anyway, got to move on. Got to keep it going. Let's go ahead and move on. Hawks take on the Sixers, Game 2, 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off. Now, Atlanta's up 1-0 in the series. Having said that, though, it's the Sixers who are the 6-point favorite at home with a total at 223.5. If you like Atlanta in another upset victory on the road here, they're plus 210 for some money line cash. Now, Atlanta's been on an absolute tear here in the playoffs. They're currently on a 4-game winning streak, 7-1 against the number in their last 8. As a matter of fact, out of Atlanta's last 14 ball games, they've only lost twice. And despite the absence of Chris Dunn and potentially DeAndre Hunter, it's been all Trae Young in the postseason. Over 30 points a night he's averaging in these 2021 playoffs. Trae's also averaging nearly 10 assists a night. He's making over 93% of his free throws. Meanwhile, Bogdan Bogdanovic is averaging 15.5 points a game in the playoffs himself. 6 boards, 4 assists for Bogey. Now, the Hawks have actually beaten the Sixers in 6 out of their last 10 meetings, and they successfully covered the point spread in 70% of those contests. The Hawks have been an exceptional rebounding team this year as well. They're in the top 10 in both offensive and defensive rebounding. So with the potential absence of Joel Embiid here tonight, should be a pretty good night under the boards for Atlanta. The Hawks are also in the top 3 in the NBA in defending the 3-ball. And like I just said, they're taking on a Philly squad who may have to go to work here tonight without Joel Embiid. The process tore his meniscus, and he's not going to be 100% probably through the rest of the playoffs. But certainly not going to be 100% tonight, even if he gives it a go here. And, with those preceding factors in mind here, it seems like laying 6 points may be a tall task. Now, the Sixers have failed to cover the number in 3 out of their last 6 ball games. And they're also they're in the bottom 10 in the league in shooting from the stripe. And even though this is a Philadelphia team who's really been anchored by their defensive play, the Sixers somehow still rank in the bottom 10 in second quarter points allowed. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the number in this one, I still think this one does have the potential to get over the line despite the injury report. Philadelphia's last 4 straight all got over the posted number, 7-1 to the over in their last 8. The Sixers have also been, they've also seen their fair share of overs on their home court. 24-16 of the over in their 40 games at the Wells Fargo Center this year. Meanwhile, Atlanta saw 2 out of their last 3 get over the total themselves. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 meetings with Philly. I'm going to lean toward the Atlanta Hawks plus 6 and the over 223.5. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Clippers-Jazz Game 1, 10 p.m. Eastern start time. The Utah Jazz are -4 with the total at 220.5. But as good as Utah's been this season, especially at home, they may have to go to work here this evening without the services of Mike Conley. He's currently questionable with a hammy. Now, the Jazz are also in the bottom half of the NBA in fourth quarter points allowed, so kind of really hard to nitpick here at Utah. They've been exceptional this year, but those are a couple of factors you may want to keep in mind before you go ahead and lay the 4 points here. They are also taking on a Clippers team who did a fine job covering the point spread in their opening series with Dallas. The Clippers have successfully covered the number in their last 2 outings, 4-1 against the spread in their last 5. The Clippers also performed quite well on the road this year, 24-15 straight up when they travel, top 3 in the NBA in road points allowed. As a matter of fact, the Clippers gave up only 106 points a night when they traveled. And when it comes to the offensive end of the court, Kawhi Leonard is dropping over 32 points a night in this postseason. 7 boards, 4 assists for the NBA champ. Kawhi is also drilling nearly 43% of his three-pointers in this postseason. He's making 90% of his free throws. Meanwhile, Paul George is scoring over 23.5 points a game in these 2021 playoffs himself. 9 rebounds, 5 assists for PG-13. George is also shooting 89% from the line himself. Now, in addition to playing quite profoundly on the defensive end of the court, we're looking at a Clipper squad who leads the NBA shooting the 3-ball. LA's drilling 41% of their three-pointers collectively as a team for the entire year. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the scoring in this one, the Clippers did see 5 out of their last 9 ball games get over the posted number. Meanwhile, Utah saw their last 5 straight all get over the total themselves. The Jazz also went 75% to the over in their last dozen outings as well. I'm going to lean toward the underdog LA Clippers +4 and the over 220.5. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our very quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like Atlanta +6 over 223.5. I like the LA Clippers +4 in the over 220 and a hook. And one final reminder, guys, that we are currently 6-0 in our last 6 NBA tier package picks on my Patreon website. And the good news is we have another NBA tier package pick going off here this evening. And if you found yourself really enjoying this video here today, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. And if you're new here today or this week, please feel free to welcome yourself to the Brock Page betting community by hitting that subscribe button as well. I'd love to connect with you on a daily basis. And with that, guys, now we're going to jump into some shout-outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to Michael Williams, Renisha Brown, Jerry Pulaski, Gleazy Baby 43. Shout out to South Plainfield Striker from New Jersey. Also want to give a shout out to Travis Jones, Danny Kaprowski, Lori Bauer, Tattoo Keese. I believe Tattoo Keese is my good friend from Coatesville, I think. But anyway, shout out to Tattoo Keese. And last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man, Young Shard. I gotta imagine that Young Shard, that's probably short for Richard. But anyway, always nice to see Young Shard in the comments section. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Now, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a package here today, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of June. It's not just a one-day pass. You're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of June. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.